announcement we have, I guess, for our January hot topic. Um, we will have to change our regular first Friday timing because of the legislative session, and but our speaker, we're not quite sure when this is going to be yet. We're going to join with the other leagues across the state of Tennessee and have kind of a joint hot topic with Courtney Atnip, who is the League of Women Voters lobbyist, who's going to give us her perspectives on the upcoming legislative session. So just stay tuned for that. Watch out for Facebook and email announcements, and we'll make sure to get the information out there.
Way cool.
Good.
Okay.
So, Karen, I guess
Yes.
you
So,
can.
yeah, more people are coming in, and thank you all for tuning in. We may know each other somehow, some way, because Jordan, Gavin, and Kay all have been out there advocating and working for their organizations for affordable housing. Little pockets of niche clientele, I should say. But now it's just coming through, and I think for the league, the housing issue is one of our most popular talkabouts. So I'd like to give the floor to Kay Bowers. And Kay has had her career in as an executive director for organizations supporting affordable housing and planning, and she's served on the Metro Nashville Metro Development and Housing Agency. And Kay is now our community liaison for a organization, Nesterly. So Kay, please take the floor.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Karen. It's great to be with you today and share information about a program that can help with much needed housing and housing affordability challenges that Nashville, like many other places across the country, is facing. It's a growing problem, and particularly for our senior population, but also for our young professionals, especially many are choosing not to come back home after school because their hometown is no longer affordable, or if they graduate here, they're leaving. So we kind of have a brain drain problem, which is never a good problem to have for a community. So I do have a PowerPoint I want to share, if I can get it pulled up. There you go. Now I have to minimize you all. Oh, I can do it this way, I think. Yeah. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So several years back, just to give you some context of how we came to this point with launching a home sharing program in Nashville, um, some groups that worked with, particularly with our senior population, began to advocate with Metro government to bring a home sharing and help launch a home sharing program in Nashville because of the need for housing affordability, more housing affordability for our seniors. So groups like Age Well, 50 Forward, NOAA, which is an advocacy organization in Nashville, got together and advocated for Metro to do this. And so Metro set aside some money, and then they began to do their housing division began to research companies across the country to see how these different home sharing programs worked. And they focused on one called Nesterly, which is actually it's a social enterprise. So its profits go back into running and helping the organization grow. Um, and Nesterly started in 2016 in Boston, Massachusetts. and it was started by two MIT students in Boston, and it was launched there, and that's begun to spread across the country. So the community focused model really takes a common practice, a cultural practice of sharing extra rooms in your home, which has been around forever. Families have done it. Lots of people have done it, particularly in other cultures. It's pretty common practice. It takes that practice and combines it with two things: technology and strong personal customer support to create mutually beneficial matches between host and renters. And in high housing cost places like Nashville, with our growing senior population, an important reason for them to share is really comes down to um, where their income is at that particular time, and they're no longer in the workforce, and bringing to them a way to offset household expenses and helping them stay in their home as long as they want to stay in their home. Another important benefit for our seniors is the social connection that lessens loneliness. And in turn, we know loneliness and isolation is detriment to our health. So it helps improve seniors' health. And about 30% of home sharers receive assistance with household tasks in exchange for reducing the rent. So these tasks would be things like running errands, going to pick up medications at the pharmacy. If they're going to if the home share is going to travel, they may want them to take care of their plants, or if they have a cat or a dog or dog walking, things like that, easy things like that. But they make a big difference, and they're just an extra help. And so, in exchange for that service, then the home shares would actually reduce the rent. And this happens in about 30% of the cases. And so just a few statistics for you. We know that older adults are the fastest growing low income urban population. And 50% of these older adult low income population live alone, and 4 out of them are cost burden. So these are important statistics to keep in mind as we think about this population. Actually, 40%, according to surveys, of older adults are interested in renting a room in their home, but only 2% are doing it today. And there are a lot of reasons for that, and I'll get into some of them later, but they just don't really know where to start. There's fear and trust issues involved. So this is where Nesterly's model for this service makes such a difference. So this is Nellie, and she rents a room in her home, and she got started with Nesterly. And so I'm going to, if this video works, I'd like to show you this short video and let you hear from Nellie.
I had lost my husband 3 years ago. I was lonely, and that I was also looking for a little bit of extra income. I thought it was a wonderful idea of matching an older person with a younger one. I was lucky enough to find a young woman whose background matches mine in some ways. She loves literature, she loves poetry, and she loves cats, which is even more wonderful. So I feel very blessed to have Sarah in my life. I think that the people at Nesterly have made themselves very available, which is wonderful. If I needed to ask questions, I could always get in touch with somebody, and this turned out to be a wonderful solution. Even more than a solution, a great life change. I had lost my husband 3 years.
Let me just stop that. me do that. Okay. The majority of individuals that make this decision to share their home are women. And there are some reasons for that. I think they have more of a comfort level maybe with sharing, but the majority of individuals that are customers of Nesterly's program are women. So for young professionals and grad students on the renter side, the home sharing model really provides a budget-friendly housing option. We know that young people are facing the brunt of our urban housing crisis, so home sharing really fills a need for them. And in Nashville, I think we're now up to almost 50% of our renters are cost burden. So Nesterly's service provides an online platform with personal customer support to help create matches between host and renters. And in today's world, we say, well, customer support, is that Chat GPT, or am I really going to be able to talk with someone? And the answer to that, I can confidently say, is yes. They have very strong personal customer support people. I work closely with Hannah, who's the customer service representative for this region of the country, and she's in conversation frequently with both hosts or potential hosts and potential renters to help them through the process, but really help them determine whether someone is a good match for them. And so this slide just points out what I just talked about is the strong customer support, and the reps are led by social workers. So it's really thought through, and there are regular check-ins, usually every month, on both the host side and the home share side, to ensure that they're having the best possible experience and clear up any problems that may arise. If there's a problem, then they can contact Nesterly, and Nesterly's representative will help mitigate the problem, or if they decide to dissolve the agreement, they will help them do that too. So there is a platform, it's a technology platform that is used where the home sharer goes online and enters information for their home, and they'll put pictures up, they'll describe what's available, the room, the bedroom and bathroom, or if they're sharing a bathroom and the kitchen space and living areas, they'll put all that up, and they'll put it with pictures, and they'll tell you a little bit about themselves. There is a 6-point background check that is done both on the home sharer and the potential renter, just to help instill confidence. So once a match is made, and this really is a matchmaking service, once the match is made and the individuals on both sides of the arrangement decide they want to move forward, then a written agreement is signed, and it goes much, much further than a typical lease. And what it does is it lays out the expectations of the individual that's going to rent the room, and of the individual that's going to provide the room for rent, so that up front you can hash through all those things and make sure that there's clear expectations on both sides. And then once that's signed, and there's opportunity also for video chats, uh, possibly even meet in person or phone calls, that there's for direct communication between the host and the home share and the renter. And once that is done, then Nesterly's platform is set up so that the rent is collected by the company, by Nesterly. A small fee, I think it's 1.25%, is taken out that goes to the company. And then Nesterly deposits into the host on bank account each month the rent. And so the host doesn't have to face those kind of uncomfortable situations. Oh, by the way, the rent's due or the rent's past due. And Nesterly takes care of that. And so this again goes back to working personally with the customer representative to really make sure that you're clear on your rules. They will also help and advise you on the price that you are setting for your room or whatever your accommodation is, to see if that it's in line, and also help you in making decisions and how you choose to accept. And everything, as I said before, is documented and transparent, so there are not any gray areas. And this slide just goes back to showing that, reminding you that we have a multi-step screening process, and there are background checks. There's proof of employment that's collected from renters, and just helps. And then it just shows the advantages of what can happen when individuals who want to stay in their home, and age where they are, and health, and from a physical health perspective, they can do that. But this gives them extra income, and it gives them companionship. And so these are pictures of just typical listings that you might see on the website. So really, the only requirement of the renter is that they must be 18 years of age. And on the other side of this, the requirement is that you have to rent at least a month. And this takes it away and out of kind of the Airbnb space. And this kind of arrangement is really good for students, and particularly for grad students in Nashville. I had a Belmont grad student who needed a place to rent over the summer. The dorms were closed. She needed to stay here. She was from another state. She needed to stay here because there were classes she needed to take. So she rented a room, in fact, from a couple I know, for 3 months, and then went back to school. And these are pictures of Nashville's first home share couple, Betty, you'll see at the top, and then Bacardi at the bottom. And Betty is a retiree that lives in Old Hickory. I think she lives in Old Hickory. She's a retired educator and principal. And Bacardi was moving to Nashville to start a new job at Vanderbilt, and was looking for a welcoming and peaceful place to call home. And she was just starting out. So she needed something really affordable, and she really didn't want to live deep in the urban core. So it worked out. And Bacardi is still there, and the last I heard, they were happy with each other. And this is just another example of a listing that was put up for, I think we've had 2 or 3 listings out in Bellevue, which work for some, but not always for others, because it's a little far, and a lot of times people come out of their places are used to public transportation. So I'm going to stop sharing and go back to you all.
Yeah, thank you, Kay. Perfect timing on your slide presentation. Audience, is there any pressing question right now for Kay? We have a
This is Maureen. I just have a comment. I live in a senior living community. There's 160 units. The vast majority are occupied by single women, most of whom are widowed. But
Mhm.
the arrangement here prohibits us from doing anything like that. It would be perfect, but our, our
Wow.
our lease agreement specifically prohibits anyone else other than a legally shared partner being
Really? That's good to know. That's unfortunate, I think. Um, Maybe there's opportunity for discussion with senior living communities. I'll check in to see if there's any places in other parts of the country, if they've had success with other communities to see if they would allow it.
ours is Lakeshore Estates in Bellevue, and
Is it?
there's a companion unit over in Donaldson.
Um, One of the purposes of, or one of the goals of the Nesterly program, and this goes back actually to the founders, Noel, one of the founders, is to promote intergenerational relationships because we all know it's not good to be segregated in our society. We are all healthier when we can integrate with each other and be with each other. Like Noelle's grandmother is the one that encouraged her to start this initiative because Noelle was in New York and she working for the city in housing, and they were looking at how much money it was going to take to produce all the units that were needed. And her grandmother said, Noelle, we lived this way when we were first starting out. There is this way can work. And so that's really what seeded this idea because Noelle and her grandmother are still very, very close. And I think one of our challenges is that we have kind of separated ourselves from each other. And I think from a society standpoint, it's healthier and it's better for us if we can find ways and we benefit from those relationships with these with each other. We benefit, and so I think I don't know. It's talking to the people on the business side of things, but they don't have the social worker or the people like us that are at the table when they're making these decisions. Maybe there's an opportunity there.
great, thank you. Gavin and Jordan. I know these gentlemen. They're from Our Place, Nashville. They're leading a great organization, and I'd like to turn the floor over to both of them.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us, y'all. That was great to hear about Nesterly too. I've seen it, but it was great to hear a full presentation because we have a lot in common in
Yeah.
terms of what we're trying to achieve, which is cool. But yeah, we are with Our Place Nashville. I am going to share screen so that y'all can see my little presentation. Um, Helps me stay on track. Oh, well, that's showing you the Nesterly page.
Oh,
Are y'all seeing that? Are y'all seeing? Hold on, let me make sure.
Not yet.
Okay. Shared the wrong. Why is it not letting me? There we go.
there you
Okay.
are.
Yay!
You're good.
I'm supposed to be young and good at technology, and here I am. But yeah, excited to tell you a little bit about our place. We are an affordable housing community. So the slight difference from anything else is that you have to qualify based on income. And we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But the idea is that we include people with disabilities, specifically intellectual and developmental disabilities. These are folks who sometimes have difficulty fitting into a difficult world. They have difficulty affording Nashville, just like our seniors do. And they need community as well. I think a huge thing that we learned during COVID is that isolation piece for people that are aging, people with disabilities, people with mental health concerns. Isolation is not good for any of those things. And so our place, Nashville, both tries to attack both of those things. One, the affordability of the housing, and then two, the inclusive communities portion, where people are in community. So not far off from what you've been hearing. I'm going to show you a quick video, and I'm just going to make sure that the sharing has audio, and I'm going to do that one more time. Oh, it's not getting me that option. Okay. Well, oh, there it is. All right. So
audio.
yeah, there it's working now. Um,
And now you're muted.
Here we go.
This is my apartment. I clean, I cook, I make my own decisions, I make some wise decisions.
Our Place Nashville is this amazing community where we try to empower folks who have a developmental disability. We provide them affordable housing and place them in an inclusive community where they can thrive. That thriving means they will have employment, they find purpose and meaning in life, and they build friendships across divides that they never were able to cross before.
Get to lot do some cool stuff, you know, dinners, a movie every once in a while, or we'll do a big celebration for a birthday, and we'll maybe do like a cookout out here with all the houses. My favorite class would be everything from like karate to dancing to workout stuff to, you can pretty much name it, we've done it. I'm not much of a cook. I am the microwave person, which the cooking classes has gave me some knowledge so far. My book club and I meet on Wednesday afternoon. We are reading Peter Pan. Everyone has their coffee. We meet some really cool people still, which has been really fun.
My favorite part is just being around everyone, having people to hang out with.
Now, since I've been here, I'm even more on my own now. Because with the disability that I have, my mom, before she passed, was pretty much doing everything for me. For a while, for a good long time, I did not see this happening at all.
So I love having the kitchen. I love cooking my own meals. I love having just my own space. Can decorate it however I want. We like to just walk around the neighborhood, go to the community garden, and everybody loves each other here. Everybody's friendly. I haven't met this friendly of a group in a long time. It's awesome.
When I first came in, I thought about all of the things that I had to learn. How to be, the strongest role model and person possible and a support system to our friends. And what I ended up realizing very, very quickly is that they were a greater support to me than I could have ever been to them.
I found a real acceptance. The people that live here they're like family. They treat you like family. And they kind of have your back.
I've been at the Friendship House for a year now, and you become so close to everyone, and you always have people near you, so you're not alone. You have people to play games with, people to do anything with. So I come from a very large family in New Jersey, so this means a lot to me.
Everyone has something a little bit different they're dealing with. Actually, part of the beauty of it is getting to know people who you may not see on the outside as much, people you may not understand as much when you don't really have to. It gets you out of your own self a little bit, and you get to interact with other people, and it changes your perspective when you get to do that.
A lot of times when we think about friends living on their own or anybody living on their own, we think about independence, individuality, and like, I can do this on my own. But what Friendship House teaches us, it's yes, there are parts that you can do on your own, but also you need one another.
In Friendship House, we become more like a little family. So they're friends, but they're also a little family. They believe in me sometimes, a lot of the time, more than I believe in myself.
Now we have the most diverse community in all of Nashville because it transcends race, gender, class, ability, and we have shown that that diverse community can absolutely thrive.
So that was just like a little overview, and that was more geared towards our population of folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities. But if you kind of were able to gather from the video, half of the residents will have an IDD, so autism, Down syndrome, something like that, and the other half do not. And these might be graduate students, this might be older adults, this may be, we have a bunch of musicians now that play gig work and don't make a lot of money, need affordable housing. And so it's really a unique and diverse community, age-wise, income-wise, but everybody is kind of falling in those categories. This is the original house we had. It was a back in 2015. That was our whole friendship house. That was what we called the friendship house at Nashville IDD Housing Group. And this just shows kind of over the years how we've grown. We have properties across Nashville now, and our last two are we have a whole street of houses. So you're not only just living in a house with people you know, but you have a block, a cul-de-sac of other people that you can spend time with. And we'll show you the community spaces in a little bit, but it really is that focus on affordability and community. So I'm going to hand over to Gavin, our associate director, to talk to you a little bit about like the pillars of what community looks like for us.
Yeah, so I'm Gavin, Associate Director. One of the big things about what we do is not just the fact that we are affordable housing, but that we are community. And one of the ways that that takes shape is eating together. We have a community meal that we provide for our residents in partnership with Nashville Food Project. And once a week, folks get together, they have a meal together, and this is just a great way for people to check in with one another. It's a great way for us to kind of flag if someone's struggling with something. Usually, by having this weekly meal, if somebody's starts not showing up, that's something for us to say, hey, let's check in. Let's see if they're doing okay. Let's see if something's come up. Maybe they are just busy, but maybe they're also isolating. And we really want to avoid that just for the well-being of all the residents. Want to hit the next one. We make a point, of celebrating everyone's birthday. We typically do this as like once a month. There's a birthday cake at a community dinner to celebrate all the birthdays of that month, just because logistically that's easiest. But we also celebrate each other's wins. We've had folks who have made major achievements in their life. We had one gentleman who this year, after nearly a decade of trying, he finally got his high school equivalency diploma, and that was a
Hello.
thing for that house. And they all took a moment to celebrate it. We celebrate all those. We encourage the community
Yes,
to
I
celebrate
am.
all those things. Let's hit the next one. And then growing together. Some of this is just the natural growing that occurs in life, occurs all throughout life. And some of it is our Monday night life skills classes. Those are our classes for the friends that teach various life skills. You probably heard Ian talk about it in the video we showed. Sometimes these classes are very logistical, practical things like budgeting or dispute resolution or how to apply for a job. And sometimes they're more fun things like line dancing or or some sort of art project. And the reason we have some of those fun things in there as well is because it also gives our folks an ability to learn a new hobby, learn a way to spend their free time. Um, because all our friends, which is our term for those with autism, they do have jobs, but they have free time, and we want them to spend that in a way that's beneficial and helps them to feel connected to themselves and the community.
Awesome. So the concept of how the houses actually look, we do have some apartments, but right now we're really focusing on the shared living. And in shared living, you have your own lockable bedroom, bathroom, and closet. You share a kitchen and living room with housemates. Somebody in the chat mentioned about food. We actually do, every resident has their own pantry that locks, and this is a way that we help people avoid fighting over food things, although it doesn't happen very often, but if it does happen, that's a way to help it. You can lock your food away. And a lot of our residents, the rooms are big enough where you could have your own mini fridge or your own space as well. So a lot of folks will, if they have their leftovers that they really don't want anyone to eat, they'll put it in their mini fridge. But if they're okay with sharing their milk, they'll put it downstairs for everybody and write on it share. And if they write their name on it, don't touch it. But that was a great comment. But that is a part of shared living. And we have the common areas that are well furnished. We try to keep everything really beautiful, really clean. We have a cleaner that comes in every 2 weeks to keep that happening. But with our friends with disabilities, there is a lot of learning these life skills of wiping up your crumbs when you finish eating or whatever, right? And so our housemates, who tend to be older adults or graduate students or anybody else who needs that housing, are really able to give back and to share some of that wisdom in those common spaces and to say, hey, I noticed that after you made mac and cheese, you put the pan all the way back in the fridge with the mac and cheese in it. Now no one else can use the pan. So please would you put that in a Tupperware? And sometimes that kind of like support, that co-support does really go both ways. One example, we had an older adult who really struggled to be on her feet for more than 30 minutes. She didn't have a disability developmentally, but she was just unable to be on her feet. And so one of our friends with autism was able to bring in her groceries for her from the car and was able to help her with the dishes because he really felt good giving back to her. And in return, she was able to provide that kind of social and emotional support to him. And that's just kind of a way that everybody in these shared areas is able to support each other, but also have their own spaces that lock. Um, this is like the example of what a street of houses looks like. So you kind of have the common areas, and then on these streets, we have this. Okay, this is more of the living rooms and the size of the bedroom. So that's a big queen size mattress. We put that there just for you to see that there is more space for like a couch or a TV. A lot of our folks set it up more like a dorm. We have the outdoor spaces, which are really important. And then we have our community room spaces, and these have like a bunch of couches and TVs and ping pong and air hockey. And this is a place to just kind of hang out and be a community. And those common spaces, like I said, are the transformative piece that turns this from housing into, a community of folks. This is a photo of one of our classes that Gavin was sharing with you. This one, they were making glass holiday ornaments or stained glass somethings at this time. And that's one of the activities that anyone can participate. If you have a developmental disability or not, you can participate in these. So some of our seniors, some of our students love to do these things as well because they come home and it's a chance to connect with their neighbors. Gavin, over to you.
Yeah. So our units, the pricing can vary just like a little bit year to year, but by a little bit I mean like $10. Um, so our apartments are $700 a month. And then there's a resident fee and a Wi-Fi fee that's actually about to increase a little. But right now it's just $95 altogether. We don't really have a ton of apartments. We used to have more. We would love to get more, but it's just a matter of availability. What we mostly have is shared living, and uh, this ranges a little bit depending on the income. The shared living is the ones Jordan showed where you've got the shared living room and shared kitchen. And those are just 437 to 490 a month, depending on your income and the property you're at. So because the resident fee and Wi-Fi, are in that fee, you really it covers your utilities as well. You're not paying any, big electricity bill or water bill. And so you end up living in Nashville for under 600.
All in.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so the housemate role, they are not caregivers. They are not assistants, but it's really being, for a couple hours a week, being a kind friend, socializing, creating a safe, warm environment. All of our housemates and our friends are thoroughly vetted and checked with, and we do interviews with everybody, just making sure they understand what they're doing and what they're getting into. And because of that, we find people that really want to build genuine relationships, maybe eat at dinner together, watch a movie, go on a walk around the neighborhood. Um, these housemates also tend to be the eyes and ears, as Gavin was saying, letting our social workers know, is there concerning information? Is there something happening? Somebody's having a hard time, somebody lost their job. When you don't live with somebody, you don't know a lot of what's going on. But those resident directors kind of in the house and in the housemates, they really can help us get a feel for how people are doing and see where our staff during the week can follow up with folks and make sure they have the resources they need. And they help our friends gain social skills. And so, like I said, you're an older adult, you need that community, that support, but you're also giving back and helping somebody else, which makes a big difference to their mental health as well. Being kind and inclusive, and you in turn get to gain a diverse experience of the world. And I think that this really does create change that we will see in the world in small ways and in big ways. But the more we get to know each other and the more we see people for who they really are, the less we are divided and filled with hate for silly things. And so this is a great experience. Like I said, we have our oldest resident, I think, is in their 70s or late 70s. Our youngest is 21. We have people that have never left Tennessee and people that have never been to Tennessee until, they moved in. We have international students. We have Republicans and Democrats, and we have everybody in between. And I think that kind of really goes to show that we can have community with people that are different than us. Um, and then, we have had a lot of growth in the last 10 years. We're kind of settling now, which is great, but we do have a waiting list for our friends of 100 ish people with disabilities who would like affordable housing opportunities like this. And so our mandate is to keep going and to never stop. We work with Woodbine Community Organization and Urban Housing Solutions. We're always looking for opportunities for land and to potentially open something again in 2027. But right now we do have vacancies for housemates, and that is the population that don't have an intellectual developmental disability. So if you know somebody that needs affordable housing, that likes the idea of being around people, doesn't want to be isolated, and wants what I consider the most affordable housing in Nashville. Nowhere else are you going to get a cleaning service every 2 weeks in your living room, plus Wi-Fi and utilities and rent for under $600. I mean, it is unbelievable. But that is because we want to find the best people who really want to give back to our friends. And so if you know somebody who is in that realm, please have them go to our website. I don't have the screen on here, but it's ourplacenashville.org, and there's a form on there if you're interested in housing, and that goes straight to me and Gavin, and we'll follow up from there. So I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all may have, but thank you so much for having us and letting us share about what we do.
Great presentation, and I saw myself in a picture, the back of my head. I was in one of those pictures.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
For y'all, my daughter is a client, is a friend there. Any questions from our viewers? Okay. Gavin and Jordan, you want to tell us about your fundraiser in February?
Yeah, we are to kind of round off our 10-year anniversary, we're doing a breakfast fundraiser. It will be at Belmont University. Our goal is to share the story of our place. So we're going to have residents, we're going to have people from the past 10 years to kind of celebrate what we've achieved and what we've done in Nashville, which we're pretty proud of. There's not much like this around the country, and we're trying to start more and to encourage others, but we're really proud of what we've been able to achieve. And so that is February 27th. It's a Friday morning breakfast. If you are interested in participating, there'll be more information on our website and newsletters if you want to sign up for our newsletter. But yeah, we love partnering with the community. We don't reinvent any wheels. And so if you have an idea that you're like, oh, this could fit in with what they're doing, like if you want to come teach a knitting class, or if you want to teach an exercise class, or if you want to teach a dance class, like we'll have you. We'll partner with anybody in the community who cares about this kind of work. So that fundraiser will be an exciting one, February 27th, and you can find out more on our website.
Hey, this is Maureen. I have two questions. Did I understand, are the fees the same for an apartment or living in the co-housing? And secondly, I would love to hear a little more specifics about your monetary sources.
Yeah. So the fees are the same. Right now we have very few apartments. We had a apartment complex of 20 units that we closed this year because the neighborhood was unsafe and we didn't want our residents to be living in that. So we are trying to create more apartment opportunities. Even the affordable studio apartments in Nashville that are government regulated in terms of price are still over $1,000 a month. And so if you're on a fixed income, like that's just not affordable. So we're really trying to keep it as affordable as possible. So yeah, that's why we focus on the shared housing. In terms of our funding sources, we do a couple of fundraisers every year. We get a lot from family foundations and people that care about the special needs and disability communities. We have gotten a little bit of city funding for the last 2 years. Before this year, we received leftover COVID money from the city council, but we don't receive any state or federal funding. We really are a shoestring budget. And the way that we do that is we have a small team that empowers a slightly larger team to be community. And so we're not like Gavin and I aren't there being like, come on, guys, let's have a birthday party. Like we find people and we say, here's a cake, have a great time. And we're kind of empowering community to happen. And so because of that, we're on a really, really small budget and we have mostly private funders, almost entirely with some grants from Nashville based and nationally based grant funds that support our work.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody else? I want to just, Ophelia. Hi, Ophelia. Would you like to say any closing remarks?
No closing remarks. I just want to thank our speakers today. This was really informative. And for everyone else on the call, we will have more information about both groups in our monthly newsletter.
Okay, great. All right, well, we're going to give you back 10 minutes, as they say. Ethel Dench and I are going to be working next Monday to come up with our brainstorms for hot topics for January or for 2026. Kay, please keep League of Women Voters Nashville chapter in mind if you need support. If you'd love to attend a meeting, we're going to have some activities in 2026 to, again, help our membership, and we'll remember you.
Great. Yeah, definitely. I definitely will. I think we have crossed paths many times, probably down at the legislature.
Probably. Yes.
Yes. And so I'm gonna stay up to date on what you're doing and join. So it's an amazing organization, and I just really appreciate all that is done by the league. They're really go-getters, and we need a lot of that these days.
Yeah. And guys, Gavin and Jordan, I just want to remind you there's a TPAC show coming in March, and it's called SUFs, like suffragettes. So
Oh.
again, we can provide some information. We're trying to get groups to have a good time and go to TPAC and watch this show. We're all excited for March.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. Yeah, please
again,
do.
Yeah, send it our way.
Gavin, Jordan, Kay, many thanks to you all. And everybody else have a great
You're welcome.
afternoon.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.